Good morning, guys. Wow, like my top? Yay! Hi, how are you all doing, guys? What a beautiful day. The sun is beaming down. We should actually be here in Bali in rainy season, and since I've been here these past 2 months, I've seen rain twice. That's it. So it's needed, it's necessary. And the other night it rained for about 4 hours, and now the wildlife, they're all singing, all the blossoms, all the buds on the trees, everything's growing. It's beautiful here at the Four Seasons. I'm at Nusa Dua at the moment, but because it's only 15 minutes away, the Four Seasons, I came back here because I love the Four Seasons. It is an experience, and you know, if you go out for a meal and treat yourself, this cost me less than 20 euros to come and have breakfast here. And if you think about that, the experience is incredible. If I could film the experience of breakfast here, you wouldn't believe it. Now, one of the managers came up to me the other day and asked me, "You're very unusual, because most people won't go from another hotel into this hotel." And I said, that's probably because most of us have in our mind that there's no way we can afford to do that. And actually you can, because it's 20 euros, or maybe a little bit more than 20 euros, maybe 22, 23, I don't know, but it's such a beautiful experience. The place is divine. Look at this place. There's waterfalls, swimming pools, but all really beautiful. Anyway, guys, it's a lovely day. Let me get my camera straight. It's a lovely day today, and what we're going to talk about. Okay, let's have a think what we're going to talk about today. It's a beautiful day. You know, these videos about helping you become more stronger by being aware of the silly things that we tend to talk about in our head, the little demons. So why don't we talk about one of the things that we often say to ourselves, which is, am I good enough? Am I really all that I am? And I reckon it's all about the doubts about yourself. And when you're asking yourself that question, I often say to you, it's good to question yourself. However, there's certain things that I think we can over-analyze and over-question. And I think if you're asking yourself the question, am I good enough? I think that comes from a really, really low place within our mind. It's the fears of probably the judging of others. Don't be upset when I say that, because we all judge in one way or another, even though we think we do. We all fear that somebody is better than us, so we're frightened that somebody's going to get something that we don't get. That's sometimes a little bit of ego, a little bit of greed, all of these things that sometimes comes to us every now and again. I can honestly say that I don't feel those feelings about wanting more than somebody else. I never have. I've always wanted. My best friends are all millionaires, and I grew up with them being millionaires. And you know what I used to think to myself? I'm lucky to have friends who are millionaires, because I can enjoy what they're enjoying and it doesn't cost me anything afterwards. Meaning that I can go to one of their villas and it doesn't cost me to clean it and worry about it. I got the best of both worlds. I let them worry about all the headaches. So, and also my friends too, I watched them grow from just, well, one particular friend, I helped him with his first business, start his first business, and he ended up having about 50 shops, and I was so proud of him. And I'm proud of another friend called Vincent, and Andrew and John. You know, these are three very, very wealthy guys, and I look at them with a big smile on my face. I'm not wealthy. I'm, you know, starting to, my business is starting to progress day by day, but it wasn't really that I was bothered about business as such, because I know what a headache it can be, and sometimes having very little and a peaceful life is you're far richer than wanting to be a millionaire. And a lot of millionaires live on stress and worry, and they become very ill if they're not careful. Oh, but Mark, they're rich, so they don't need to worry. Trust me, they worry. And a lot of the times rich people are so frightened of losing what they've built up that they never actually enjoy their wealth. So there's all sorts of things that are going on in your head. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, it was about what we judge in others, what we feel we're not good enough, and let's talk about that as well. Am I good enough? Am I good enough for myself? Am I good enough for my partner, for instance? If you've got a partner and you fear your worth, you see, I think what we tend to forget is that because we're always judging and measuring ourselves to others, we tend to look at other people's we tend to look at other people and try and see, oh, they're amazing, they're this, they're that, and that's kind of unbalanced, right? If you think about it, there's no balance there. You know, whereas when you look at the practical side of anybody, they've got gifts and they've got faults and they've got challenges, and just like you and me. So in truth, if you're measuring yourself by wealth, if you're measuring yourself by a smiley face, if you're measuring yourself by somebody who's got a beautiful partner, if you're measuring yourself by somebody who's got a nice house, you're always measuring yourself to other people's your illusion or delusion of what you think they have. But if you actually stand back like I did and spend years with people who were millionaires, who were models, who were this and that, and you realize that their life ain't so cracky, and you're always comparing, thinking that their life's better. Like, take for instance here, a lot of people who come to the Four Seasons are very wealthy people. You know, I was smiling all morning there, laughing, and most of the people are sat down looking worried, and guys are on their phone panicking about business, and wives are looking at the husbands because they're panicking and they're thinking, why isn't he paying attention to me? And like, you know what? You can see and feel that the most richest person in the world is you when you look at your life and start to look at all the beautiful things that are within you. And actually, if I was to put you in front of 150 people, you'd realize that your magic, your gifts, your compassion, your love, your energy is so unique and beautiful that you can't compare yourself to anybody, because you are the one person in this whole universe that is only you. Nobody could ever be you, and you could never be anybody else. So I think a lot of the times, instead of us starting to look at other people and say to myself, am I good enough? Because you're saying it because you're comparing yourself to others, or else you wouldn't say that. I think what we all need to do is stop looking at other people and stop saying to myself, am I good enough? And start to not only appreciate how amazing you are. That's really important. There's no ego there. Realize how special you are in this world, and also start to ask yourself, what is it that you really want in life? Because I think a lot of us don't know, and I think we're scrambling to figure out who we are, what we are, and why we're here. So we tend to, instead of really take a real grip on those few sentences and work with them and live with them and try and figure out all of those things within ourselves, we tend to find it easier to compare ourselves to others and then question ourselves, but actually not do any of the work. So I've spent now, I'd say at least 1 year really doing the work. I've had an opportunity to do the work because of my life. It changed dramatically when I ended a relationship, and then we ended a relationship and we parted because it was our moment to part. So then I had time to myself to start to realize and ask all the questions and start to find that for the first time, I wasn't worried about anybody. I was just focused on me. And I think that's important, guys. I think you need to find yourself time to focus on yourself. Because if you're always distracted by family, by issues, by all sorts of things, then you're never going to actually really find out who you are, because you're distracted with life. So I spent a year healing myself, because that was the first thing I knew I needed to do. So I cut out all the bad foods and started to eat fruit and vegetables, drank plenty of water, started to meditate, and then through that my body started healing over the months. And then your body then becomes a perfect temple. So when your body's a perfect temple, there's no stress on your body. So that means that you're not got a stomach ache, you're not got a headache, you're not got eye ache, you're not got feelings of emotions of sadness and worries and pains and all the emotional suffering, because your body is a perfect temple, because you're putting the right foods into your mouth and keeping away from the wrong foods. So now that your body is functioning properly, you are able to ask the question, you are able to listen, you are able to feel, because your body's in sync. You can't do that if your body's trying to fix itself all the time. So that was the first step. Then the second step came, where I looked at my life and thought, what is it that makes me happy? What is it that I would like to do in my life, and who am I and where am I going? And the answers started coming in Mother Nature when I came outside. And I spend a lot of time outside now. I spend a lot of time meditating. And yes, it's quite frightening. And yes, you might think, oh, that sounds boring, but it's not. Trust me, when you become your best friend, you start to connect, right? And look, here's my feet, okay? I got my feet on the grass, and I'm connecting to your Mother Earth, or our Mother Earth, and then it realigns you, and then you start to have this connection, and that connection leads you to a flow of what I call pure energy. It comes from the universe, and it comes straight through you, and before you know it, you're feeling. You are feeling. Most of us don't feel. You think you feel, but they're negative emotions. I'm talking about real feelings where you start to receive, and it becomes almost like you get the answers through the feeling of pure energy. So it flows through you, and then you all of a sudden build up on this energy, and before you know it, you have the answers. So I've started to become more balanced in life, because I realize the answers that I never had before are coming to me now. And I can't give you all of them answers, because I think that's wrong. I think you need to work towards that. And I can tell you things that will blow you away. And yes, I'm writing a book now, and I'm writing 4 books, and I'm going to put a lot of stuff into the books. But you know what? For me to just tell you everything is a waste of energy. And do you know why that is? Because I'll tell you why. Humanity has become so lazy that anything that I give you becomes history, and then it becomes a waste of time, and it's not important. But if I say to you, I've got a secret, you'll fight and scramble and push and watch me every day till I tell you the secret. So why is that? Ask yourself, why are we so keen to know something, but then when we get to know it, we disregard it as if it's meaningless? Ask yourself that question. So for me, I often say to myself now, through the learnings and the teachings of certain people, that sometimes people are not ready for the truth. They don't know what to do with it. So what I try and do with you guys is what I did with myself. To really understand the truth, you have to go through the process of learning how to feel the truth. Not to be just giving it to you, because it's meaningless. So it's like if I take you on a helicopter and put you at the top of a mountain, you'll go, yeah, it's lovely. But if you climb that mountain after 5 or 10 days and you're nearly starving and you're falling and you're all over the place, you get to the top of that mountain, you'll know the difference. You'll know the meaning of what you see at the top of that mountain compared to a helicopter ride. You understand what I mean? So I have worked really hard in these 12 months to get to where I am, and I am damn proud of myself. And I share the daily practices, my daily thoughts to help you, but I will not give you all the information. That's too much for anybody. You need to come to me and say, oh my God, Mark, do you remember when you said do that? I've done it and this is what's happened. And I go, yes, exactly. Because you have to experience yourself to understand it. Or else you're going, it's a waste of time. Oh yeah, he's told me that. I don't want to know now. It's history. It means nothing. But if you figure it out yourself, then you'll understand it. And a lot of people will never get it. So you have to go through your life to get where you are. So now, do I ask myself, who am I and am I good enough? No, I don't. In that respect, I don't, because I am good enough. I know I'm the only one, so I am as good as who I am. So this is me. Can I grow? Of course I can grow. I can grow every single day. Can I become wiser? I can become wiser every single day. Can I become healthier every single day? Can I actually become my best friend? Can I learn to love myself? Can I actually find inner peace? You really can. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. You really, really can. And if there was a day in my life that I really truly meant that, then today is that day. I have never felt as much peace in my heart and life for all the effort and the time that I've put into myself. And if you look back on my videos from the first one till today, then as a scientific proof level, you can see the change in me. You can see the difference in my character, the way I am and the way I've grown, in a way that I'm not nervous anymore. I'm understanding life. I get it when people are angry with me. I get it when I'm attacked, and it doesn't affect me anymore like it did do. So I'm still sensitive, but I realise that nobody is really ever attacking you or me. Nobody. Bad likes, nasty messages, people saying that you this, that. It's all about themselves. That's all ego. That's all fear. That's all of them. So whenever you write a comment, whenever you speak, whatever comes out of your mouth is a reflection of how you are feeling at any given moment. It's true. So I'm realizing so much that I didn't, even though I spent many years working with people and trying to understand. But I think the only true time you really understand life is when you work on yourself. So today, from my heart to yours, have the most beautiful day, guys, from a Four Seasons. Love you all. Take care. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.